Well, I hope that you all are doing well, that you all are staying healthy and safe out there. Again, I just want to reiterate that if any of you have any needs or any way that we can minister to you during this time, or any of our members that you know of who have needs that we can help with at this time, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know so that we can make sure that we are serving our members well during this time. Just have another scripture for you today. This is also from the book of Genesis. Yesterday we were in Genesis chapter 5, but today I have a scripture from Genesis chapter 50. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the story of Joseph and the book of Genesis. Takes me back to Sunday school when I was a child and coloring the picture of Joseph's colorful coat. But I want to read from you at the very end of the book of Genesis. In verse 19 from chapter 50, we read, "But Joseph said to them, 'Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You planned evil against me. God planned it for good, to bring about the present result, the survival of many people. Therefore, don't be afraid. I will take care of you and your children.' And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them." You know, there is no doubt that we live in a fallen world. We live in a world that has been ravaged by sin. And it's because of that, it's because of living in a fallen world that we see death. We see things like viruses that have such horrible effects on people. But we also see, even in the midst of a fallen world, that God is so often still working in that and using even man's own sinful decisions and selfish decisions and evil decisions, that God can still use that for his good and for his glory. And we see here Joseph, he was talking to his brothers who had sold him into slavery. They tried to kill him and decided to sell him into slavery instead. And Joseph tells his brothers, he says, "You meant evil against me, but God used it for good." And you know, in the midst of everything that's going on in our world today, I can't help but believe that even when we see this terrible pandemic that's going on, we see so much evil around us in the world today, I can't help but believe that God is going to use this for his good. And he's going to use this for his glory. And God has promised us in his word that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who've been called according to his purpose. And so I think it's in times like this that we need to rest in the sovereignty of God. We need to have a trust that God is at work in this mess and that he's going to use it to strengthen our faith in Jesus, to build us up in our love for him, and to help develop a more dependence on him during these times. So I hope that you've been blessed and encouraged by that. Thank you all.